So apparently, a lot of people are involved in doing something. This started out with Conway Fire Department, and what they're trying to do, I have no fucking idea anymore. I know it involves a lot of people, and I know that Thomas Biggs, his name gets tossed around a lot. But we know Kim Evans is involved, and we know Phil Reed, who goes by Minor Booth, is involved. And Minor Booth was a guy that, Phil Reed was a guy that was arrested in 2016 for a prostitution ring. So he also has a friend named Johnny Watts that works alongside him, and they're using what's called bone conductivity, and basically what that is it's kind of like a goddamn walkie-talkie in your head, if you will. But they do it by ham radio, and they broadcast out of number 16 Moore Lane in Conway, Arkansas, and also they broadcast out of 115 Middle Road in Conway, Arkansas. And there's also a guy named Don Kenny Sr. that's known to do this shit out of Jacksonville. They call themselves brain cooks, and I call them pussy coward cunts. And what's that? Now, it's very difficult for you to hear these guys because they use ultrasonic sound, and it's a difficult process. But they use it's basically called a piezoelectric transducer middle ear, and what that is, that's a piezo magnet. Piezo magnets are unique because they hold they're kind of like a quartz crystal. They hold a frequency, a megahertz, right? They broadcast this at 43 megahertz, and it's a very, very hard crime to report because it makes you look psychotic, and that's the whole point of it, right? It's terminology called gaslighting, in fact. What these guys don't understand is that they have been caught before. Matter of fact, back in the 1980s, in the early 80s, there was a guy named Justin Gunn, a friend of mine, and he had a stepfather who was a psychiatrist, and he had a patient who was trying to convince everyone that his auditory hallucinations were in fact real people, and that psychiatrist actually believed him and looked into it, and they got a conviction out of that. Now, this happens more frequently than what these guys want to know or what they want to believe. But Chuck Mulkey and David Mulkey did this, are involved in this group also. The group they call themselves the Empire Group, right? Now, David Mulkey went and got himself arrested to try to kill me, and he ended up dying instead of me, and basically they said he died in Pulaski County Detention. Then later on they said he died in Tucker. Now, this doesn't help me, though, because they're still trying to kill me, and this is why Judge Angela Bird knows something about what's going on, and she needs to do something, because I'm not prepared to die for anybody. I don't want to die, period. Now, Judge Adam Weeks out of Walnut Ridge is a good friend of mine, and he knows something too, and there's something going on there too. Cody Highland was a guy that, Cody Highland's United States Attorney General, and he had sent two messages from the two letters from the Attorney General's office to Elisa Wilton and a Trey Turpin that stated that they had intercepted their phone calls and subsequently sealed them. And this was when I was hanging out with those guys, and that should tell you something about what's going on. And I'm tired of this shit, and the Mobbs family are involved. They live in Greenbrier, Arkansas, and so is the Evans family, and they live in Maumelle, and that's Sound Logic. A guy named Jesse Baker is from Force Computing, and he's involved, and they're running these prostitution rings, and you know, they think they're going to do this shit to me, and they're out of their goddamn minds. I talked to the FBI the other day, and the FBI guy came out to give me my bicycle, and he made a point to mention something about carbon copy. And what he was talking about, I believe, is the fact that somebody else had put another terroristic threatening charge on me, and that could be a possibility there. I don't know if that's true or not. Let's see. But I'd heard them say that they were going to do that anyway. What needs to happen is I need these guys to expedite things, because I'm so sorry, but I think I have enough stuff to give these guys to where they can have this taken care of. And we also know Wesley Nichols he lives in New York now, but his parents, he told me about this about 15, 20 years ago, about the story about his stepdad is a guy named Jamel Norton. He goes by Doy Williams, and he's a guy that he owns lease drivers, and he has this big, huge ham radio tower there in Mayflower at it's actually in Conway, 16 Moore Lane. And he's been doing this kind of stuff to people for a long time. Now, he's about dead, to be honest with you. The older guy. And but he's not handling things properly, I don't think, either. And he lives at 124 Highway 89 South in Mayflower. They need to stop these people, and they need to stop them now. From what I understand, the trucker community knows about this. Now, I know nothing about the goddamn trucker community, excuse me. But I know that I need law enforcement to expedite these things a little more quickly, because people are getting hurt, and people are dying, and it's a bad situation. Kevin Strange, a friend of mine, I believe, passed away from this. They're trying to cover up. See, what happened is that it leaked. A hack. It's a photograph. It got out. And what it does is it puts this shit on you, okay? It does it a real fast way. This has to do with the flicker rate, and this has to do with a lot of other things, right? What I'm trying to tell you is that it got out, and they tried to lie to all these people and say that I did this, and that, you know him, blah, 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 blah. Well, anyway, Kevin Strange is dead now because of this goddamn thing. And so is a guy named Gary Duncan, I heard, passed away from this goddamn thing. And this could be the church just giving this to these guys, because this is really screwed up. And I know that Nicholas Blakely's involved in this stuff big time. And Nicholas Blakely's from Scott Pentecostal Church, and he needs to be stopped. I need law enforcement to expedite this shit quick. Please do everything you can. If you know anything about this, call law enforcement and report it, okay? Just do that as soon as possible. And that's basically why this video is being made, because I'm trying to ensure my health. I'm trying to stay alive. And there's a bunch of other people involved. Look, Amanda Minish knows something about this. Justin Shipman knows something about this. A guy named Gravy knows something about this. And I believe these are all Minor Boots people. Minor Boots a fucking pussy. And I would love to get my hands on him. And you too, Johnny Watts, and you too, Kim Evans, and whoever else is scumbags, and you're all scumbags. You understand me? You're fucking scumbags.